Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. In 2015, Patek Philippe stirred controversy by releasing its first ever pilot-style watch, the 7234G. There may have been some grousing, but it turned out to be a success, a triumph as the finest finished of pilot watches, and also one of the most practical of Patek Philippe timepieces. In 2008, Patek launched a 37.5mm version in rose gold, the 7234R, following up in 2020 with the watch you see right here in white gold. This is the Patek Philippe 7234G. The 7234G being a white gold 37.5mm intermediate-sized Patek travel time pilot watch, and technically this is the Calatrava Pilot Travel Time. Previously billed as a ladies' watch, Patek now bills the 37.5mm case as a mid-size for men and for women, and I'm glad they do, because for most folks, this is going to be the right choice. Now, it's 37.5mm in diameter by 11mm thick, and from lug to lug tip, 45.5mm across the wrist, with a 18mm spacing between the lugs. Throw it on the wrist. You can see it wears beautifully. It still has a lot of presence because of the massive profile of the lugs. It looks larger than it is, and I can tell you on a 16cm wrist, I have absolutely no longing for a 42mm version of the same case. It's low enough to fit underneath the cuff, no problem there, and it is a unisex option. A lady could wear this, and I think it would wear well on a wrist as small as 13.5cm circumference. The strap is a Patek Philippe factory piece, and you can see it's calfskin on the bottom, brand new. It is grained blue leather on the top with a sheer cut side and a contrasting stitch. Just like an aviator's watch, it features calf with a contrasting stitch and a cross-hatched stitching pattern. So the same strap design used on the larger 5524 is used here on the 7234. Also, the counterweighted Clevis-style buckle that is distinctive of the Calatrava pilots, it is present here in a smaller form, again, white gold like the rest of the watch. Now, I should mention, since 2006, Patek Philippe has used what's known as gray gold in the industry. It's a white gold that's white all the way through and doesn't need any rhodium plating, and this is gray gold. There's a Patek crown with the Calatrava cross externally, blended Calatrava-style lugs. We have two crowns that are used for actuating the travel time function. Note that because you have two 12-hour hands, you can superimpose them and they will stay that way, allowing you to clean up the dial when you don't need that second time zone. Now, in order to distinguish between, well, AM and PM in that reference time zone, the place where you are not, you have AM, PM indications for local, that is the time where you are, and home, the time where you are not. So although it moves in 12-hour sweeps of the dial, you do get day-night distinction, so it functions as a 24-hour dual time. We have white gold applied Arabic numerals, and we have spectacular cathedral-style broadsword hands for the hours and minutes. Taking a quick look, you can see that the watch is dramatically loomed, one of the best loomed Patek Philippe watches of all time, and that includes the sports watches. You'll also note all three hands loomed. I always like to be able to see my watches running in the dark, which is why I like to see loom on a seconds hand. Now, one fascinating feature of these travel time pushers is that 1/4 turn locks them in place and prevents you from accidentally indexing and changing the indicated time. And it's a very robust system such that this case, with its screwed-in case back and its turn-to-lock crowns, is actually 60 meters water-resistant, which is twice a standard Calatrava. Now we have a blue-grained, almost sandpaper texture for the dial itself, and then there is a little radial date indicator down at 6 o'clock. And we'll turn the watch over real quick. And on the reverse side, we have caliber 324. Take note that two different series of movements were used in these. Early on, these used the caliber 324. Later on, the subsequent caliber 26-330 was adapted to function in this watch. So the 324 is discontinued and likely to become the more collectible in the white gold model because so few of them were made before the switch over to the 26-330. On ceramic bearings, the rotor is a unidirectional winder energizing a 45-hour power reserve. It's adjusted in 6 positions, one more than a standard chronometer, which is impressive. This is a 29-joule movement that has a gyromac-style free-sprung balance. Let me try to show you that right there. You can see it is a free-sprung balance architecture invented by Patek in the late 40s, industrialized in the early 50s. It's both more shock-resistant and easier to adjust precisely. And then we have a silicone hairspring that features a very centered mass. A flat silicone hairspring properly profiled can breathe concentrically like an overcoil. Plus, it gives you the flat profile of a flat hairspring, reduced shock susceptibility, and because it's silicone, anti-magnetic qualities that previous ferrous hairsprings would not have had. And you can see the movement is quite delightfully decorated from anglage to Côte de Genève, engine turning, satination, and note that we have both circular and linear Côte de Genève here, and that the bevels are particularly bright and luminous, all charismatic, appealing, and enticing. If you have that intermediate-sized wrist, or perhaps you have a taste for more traditional sizes, look no further. This is your Patek Philippe Calatrava Pilot Travel Time.